So how to manage an iron condor that goes against you, how to roll your strikes to the following month, how to adjust your strikes with Questrade. So let's say this is the iron condor that you initially opened up on the SPX here, just for example purposes, expiring November 15. So as you can see here, I've got the 3050 call that I'm selling and the 3055 call that I'm buying, and I've got the 2880 put that I'm selling and the 2875 put that I'm buying. So this is two credit spreads, so together it's an iron condor, and you can see the credit that I received. So if I calculate it quickly, you can see that I collected $169 for this iron condor. Now, if the trade is going in the direction that I want, I can close the trade early. I don't have to wait till expiration. So in Questrade, as long as I'm under the group by strategy layout, normally by default it's usually grouped by position. But if you have option strategies, it's best to group it by strategy because it's a strategy. So you want to see your positions by strategy. So here's my iron condor on the SPX. Let's say I want to close it early. Well, as long as I'm under group by strategy, I have the create order button here. Once I click that, it allows me to close the trade. So if I wanted to close the trade right now, I would have to pay something in between 120 and 310. So obviously I'd be closing the trade for a loss because I only collected $169 to open the trade. So if I wanted to close it, I would pay around $215. So I'd be losing money to close the trade right now. So it's not a good time to close it. And you could see that the part of my trade that's being tested is the call side. You can see I'm losing money on the call side. I'm actually a little bit profitable on the put side because SPX has gone up since I placed this trade. So the put side is becoming profitable, but the call side is getting tested. Now, I've got a few options. First thing, because it's the index is cyclical. And because I have time, I still have until November 15. I don't necessarily feel like I have to do anything. I still have time. Even if it goes past 30.50, I know that eventually it'll come back down. Especially in the market that we're in, there's always volatility. Market keeps dropping with China news or Trump tweets or whatever. So I still have time. I'm not too worried about the call side. But let's say I was worried about the call side. So one thing I could do is I could extend the duration. Let's say I could see if I feel like the call side will get tested and SPX will surpass 30.50, but I'm confident that if I have more time, the SPX will drop back down. So if I want to give myself more time, what I could do is extend it, add more days to the trade. So how to do that with Questrade is simply by clicking create order and obviously making sure that you're under the group by strategy layout. So I click create order, it opens up the window order entry. And let's say I just want to change the call side. I'm okay with the put side, it's safe. I just want to extend the call side. So I can remove the put side by clicking the delete button. And now I'm left with the call side. So this entry here automatically is to close this trade. Remember, I sold the 30.50 and here you can see I'm buying the 30.50. So I'm closing the trade. And here I bought the 30.55 and here I'm selling the 30.55. So I'm closing the trade. I'm doing the opposite. Now, if I want to extend it, I can add a call. So I'll add two calls, right? One to sell, one to buy. So I want to extend it. The next period is December 20th. So I'll pick December 20th and I'll pick December 20th for the other one, of course. So I'm adding two calls, one to sell, one to buy. I'm going to pick the same strikes because basically I just want to extend in time. I want to give it more chance to fall back down below 30.50 if that's my assumption. So I'm going to sell the 30.50 and then I'm going to buy the 30.55. I'm going to do the same thing as my initial trade. So my initial trade was selling the 30.50, buying the 30.55, but it expires November 15. Now I'm just changing it to December 20. So I want to keep the same strikes, selling the 30.50, buying the 30.55. These two lines here is just to close this. So I'm going to lose money to close this trade, but hopefully I'm going to gain enough credit from this new trade here. So the overall of this transaction here becomes a credit. Plus it gives me more time for the trade to be profitable. That's if I feel like by November 15, SPX is going to surpass 30.50. But if I had an extra 30 days, I'm sure that the SPX is going to drop below 30.50. Then this is what I would want to do. And as you can see here, I would gain probably around $70 for this trade to extend this trade out in time. So that would be one way to manage an iron condor that goes against you, that gets tested. Now, there is no right way. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos and I've read a lot. Definitely there's many different ways to manage a trade. You have to go with what you think works best and based on your assumptions as well. What I prefer to do though is some people would actually tell you never touch the tested side and just bring in the untested side closer. I don't like to do that. I personally prefer to actually close the tested side. I don't have to achieve max loss, but then place a new trade right away with different strikes, collecting a premium to compensate for the loss. Now, the loss won't be as big if I've managed the trade early. So for example, if I'm worried November 15 that SPX will definitely surpass 30.50, and let's say I have a week or 2 weeks to go, what I could do is close it early for a loss, but then sell another call spread at different strikes, at a strike that's safer. For example, let's say 3100, and then I'd buy the 3105. Now obviously I might not get a credit for this. Yeah, you see, this is going to cost me money, but what I could do is I can bring the put side closer to compensate. So I could close the put side for a profit and then bring it closer to help me compensate for the loss that I'm creating by moving the call side higher. But in the case of an index, it does make sense to use the same strikes because index are cyclical. So by giving yourself more time, you do increase your chance of your underlying stock or index to fall back within your original range. So whether you extend the same strikes in time or actually close or change the strikes and extend in time as well, that's really up to you. But in Questrade, this would be the way to do it, is by simply create order, make sure you're under group by strategy, and then you could remove the legs that you don't want, and you can add more calls. It's always going to be a maximum of 4 legs though. And you could add more puts as well if you want to do puts instead. And the advantage of grouping them together is if you're under the active trader pricing with Questrade, you're only going to pay $5 for the initial trade. So if you actually did this, so if you actually closed this call side alone and then placed another trade to open a new call credit spread, you'd be paying commissions twice. But if you put them together, you're paying commissions once. This is how you can roll your strikes to the following month or adjust credit spreads with Questrade. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Like always, if you're going to open an account with Questrade to trade on the stock market, use my referral code in the description below the video to get up to $250 back. Thanks for watching.